On the global scene, let's start with Trump and Biden. Well, former President Donald Trump has the upper hand over President Joe Biden in two critical battlegrounds, the Michigan and Georgia, with broad majorities in both states hold the negative views of the sitting president's job performances policy positions and sharpness, according to CNN polls conducted by the SSRS. In Georgia, a state Biden carried by a very narrow margin in 2020, registered voters say they prefer Trump at 49% over Biden at 44% for the presidency in a two-way hypothetical matchup. In Michigan, which Biden won by a wider margin, Trump has 50% support to Biden's 40%, with 10% saying they wouldn't support either candidate, even after being asked which way they lean. In both Michigan and Georgia, the share of voters who say they wouldn't support either candidate is at least as large as the margin between Biden and Trump.
Well, the U.S. Air Force has punished 15 officers over top secret leaks. 15 U.S. Air National Guard officers have been punished for failing to stop a junior colleague from allegedly leaking classified documents online. Jack Teixeira has been charged with 6 counts of retaining and transmitting classified information. An Air Force report said that officers were aware of his intelligence seeking activities and failed to stop him. However, it also said none of his supervisors knew the full extent of Mr. Teixeira's online activities. Prosecutors say Mr. Teixeira posted dozens of secret documents online in one of the biggest leaks of U.S. intelligence materials in years.
Well, away from the US, let's get into the UK. UK condemns China over incidents in the South China Sea against the Philippines. Britain on Monday condemned what is called unsafe and escapatory tactics deployed by Chinese vessels, which is against the Philippines over the weekend in the South China Sea. Well, the Foreign Office said in a statement that says the UK opposes any action which raises tensions, including harassment, unsafe conduct, and intimidation tactics, which increases the risk of miscalculation and threatens regional peace and stability. Both China and the Philippines must adhere to the findings of the 2016 arbitrary award precedents, which are legally binding on both parties. A spokesperson at the Chinese embassy in London said Beijing firmly opposes and strongly condemns the UK groundless accusations and has launched stern representations with the British side on this.
Now let's take a look at what is happening in Ukraine. While a British intelligence update on December 10th observed that the Russian force carried out a massive wave of strikes towards Kiev and central Ukraine using its heavy bomber fleet in what was the first such attack after September 21st, 2023. Without Mighton was the British intelligence assessed, in their words, this was probably the start of a more concerted campaign by Russia aimed at degrading Ukraine's energy infrastructure. However, initial reports indicate the majority of these missiles were successfully intercepted by Ukrainian air defense. The latest series of events indicates the assessment was correct. Now, in a pre-dawn attack on December 11th, the Ukrainian capital Kiev was bombarded with 8 long-range ballistic missiles fired by the Russian forces. The missiles were reportedly shot down by the active air defenses, but the debris of fallen missiles killed over 4 people.
What about Saudi Arabia? What's happening there? Well, Saudi Arabia dived deeper into Western assets as it looks set to become the majority owner of the UK's busiest airport in a $12 billion deal. After dominating the world of golf and placing itself atop a new Premier League soccer force, Saudi Arabia now looks set to take control of another Western asset, the UK busiest airport. Well, according to the Sunday Times of the London reports, It says that Saudi's investment fund and private equity group Argent are in the process of taking majority control of London Heathrow Airport after the pair brought up the shares of infrastructure giant last month in an outsized deal. Ferrovial, the former majority owner of Heathrow, announced in November that it had agreed to sell its 25% stake in Heathrow for 2.4 billion euros, that's $3 billion, with 15% going to the Arden and 10% going to the Saudi. The deal valued the airport at 9.5 billion euros, that's 12 of money. But with that, let's wrap up the news here. Right before we go, let's give you the major highlights of tonight's stories.
Unknown that tonight we brought to you the colonial Bamenda city mayor using Christmas gifts to cover up for its failures on social welfare, and some inner cities in Ambazonia entering the third month of electricity blackout. We also brought to you the CHRDA and Amnesty, amongst others, calling for all prisoners of war to be released.
Well, tonight on Undaunted, we told you that La Republic de Cameroon is caught in between Boko Haram insurgency and the ravaging Amazonian War of Independence. And on the foreign scene, Trump leads Biden in Michigan and Georgia's broad majority holds the views of the current presidents. And that was it of tonight on Undaunted, bringing to the news untold stories. On behalf of Star Smart and the entire Undaunted crew, we say thank you for tuning in.
Leave it with ABC Amber TV Images. Good night and God bless you.